This is their escape route. It'll have traps, but few guards. You might be able to use their defenses against them, if you're clever. I'll distract the guards at the front and make sure none of them escape. Thanks for giving an old man another chance. It's good to know I've got a future again. And even better not to know what it is. Whoever that Aelin Shear is, I don't think she's our enemy. If she wanted us dead, she could have killed us while we were weakened. But she's still trouble. Reminds me of a dark elf who left me half naked and tied to a bar guest once. Now those were the days. The immortals inscribed their knowledge of fate into the living stone. I always thought it was a poetic way of talking about the theater. But there it is, in your hands. Keep it close, child. The mine has a main entrance and an escape tunnel. The main one is heavily guarded, and the escape is heavily trapped. I saw them bringing bar guests down in cages, probably still being trained. Turn the beasts free, and I bet they cause some chaos for you. The Destiny Stone showed us the tapestry of fate, but your power must have consumed it all. Everything except the wisdom at its core, the Codex of Destiny. You know the Summer Court in Issa? Well, the Winter Court are their darker siblings. They're not evil, but they're definitely not nice. He once offered me an honorary knighthood after I slayed the Dream Eater of Amora. He was quite gracious when I turned him down. The Crystal War, they've been calling it. 10 years ago, the Winter Fae turned violent and attacked us in force, calling themselves the Tuatha Daon. They say it's their sacred duty to cleanse the mortals from their lands. Naturally, the humans and Alpha who live here aren't so happy with that plan. It's been going back and forth for years. Where there's war, there's soldiers nervous about their fate, and that's where I come in. Just go inside and find those scrying mirrors. Don't worry, I'll be coming along to help. The eyes of Tirnoch are two immense prismere mirrors. Long as the Tuatha have them trained on you, they'll find you anywhere. Gadflow is just some trumped-up fae who started hearing voices, I gather. But a crazy with an army is still a threat, sure enough. You know where you stand with a gnome. They're always so focused on their work or research or what have you, that they've got no time for lies. Shame, they try to stay out of fights. Much as we could use their help in the war, staying neutral is about the only way they can stay safe. We'll be attacking their camp from both sides. We can't have any of them escaping to report back. Strange crystal, Prismere. It's normally a shade of blue, but when you treat it and charge it with magic, it turns blood red.
The undying mortal has grown tired of running, has he? Decided to fight back? Can you tell me the difference between a creature of nature and a child of dust like yourself? We children of nature know our roles. Meek and mighty, prey and predators, life and death, all serve the cycle. You children of dust do not know your place. You come into our land. You come to face your hunters. And you don't know when to die. You shall learn. In time, all mortals will know the might of Gadflow, blessed herald of the merciful Tirnoch. All mortals end, even if some are more persistent than others.
At least the Tuatha won't be able to track you so easily now. But it looks like you've got the personal attention of their king, Gadflow. If you were anyone else, I'd suggest you start running and not stop for a few years. But you might just have a chance. You're doing well, so far. You've blinded them here, and they haven't killed you yet. And much as I hate to say it, you'll need to take Aelin Shear up on her offer of help. The Codex of Destiny should hold some answers for you. For all I know, you've already met her in the House of Ballads. But it sounds like she's the only lead now.
Well, it's always nice to see a passerby. You're the traveler I'm waiting for, eh? Shall we get to business? The Vorms know talent when they see it. I practically run this lodge for them. Oh, and while I'm thinking of it, stay away from the Star Camp up the road if you can. Run by the travelers, bunch of damn thieves. Lost nearly everything while dicing to them. Our house is leasing me this shirt for 1/3 of my wages, and it's got holes in it. Don't listen when people tell you that travelers only value the freedom to do what they wish. They also value what's in your pocket, and whatever else they can take from you. And that includes stripping your shirt from your back. Yes, I was recently contacted by Star Camp about selling the daggers, which I acquired at considerable risk and expense. So I think it's fair that I change the deal. I want to be paid in full up front. Then I'll notify you where the daggers can be recovered. That said, you can pay me now, and this can all be over with. I suppose you're right. I'd rather not get on the bad side of the travelers. I can part with the daggers for half of what I was originally asking. Wait, are you serious? I mean, it's been a pleasure doing business with you. I hid the daggers in the She. There's a map in my strongbox upstairs. You can unlock it with this key and claim the toothpicks.
Welcome to our haven in the She. I am Citric Vorm. My brother Arhaus and I give assistance to any wayfarer that may need it. You look a lot more hearty than the sort we typically get here. You might be able to help me. We lost our parents when I was young, and since then, he's always looked out for me. When he went to sea, I followed him. When he settled here, I did the same. My brother hired him, although I don't know why. Whenever there's work to do, Gunnar seems to disappear. A dangerous place, to be sure, but I find its dark depths peaceful, the solitude a welcome change over the bustling ports of Rathir. But it's not without its lighter side. Just the other day, I saw Arhaus go sprinting by with a brownie attached firmly to his arse. I've never laughed so hard. Me? I don't have much to tell. I followed my brother to sea after our parents died. I enjoyed being on the ship. There was a solace there. But the ports, I cared little for the crowds. I know Arhaus misses the ocean, but I love the solitude of the forest. We've had several visitors from Detir tell us that they were savagely ambushed by brownies. Unusual. Brownies of the She are not that aggressive. They mostly keep to themselves and only attack when approached. If there is indeed a group of brownies ambushing travelers, then those monsters need to be taken care of. Good. I'll see that you are rewarded for your efforts. I still have trouble believing those brownies would be so aggressive. Most unusual. It's a barren desert full of greedy miners and vicious bandits. Arhaus and I did our best to avoid it when we traveled here. I'd suggest you do the same. If there are indeed a group of brownies attacking people, then you must put a stop to it. Follow the trail to Detir. It is in the southern She. Find the brownies, get rid of them.
Welcome to our lodge. Surprised you made it out here by yourself. The She is a dangerous place. Lucas Soren, the poor soul in the next room. She did not fare so well. The Vorms have always been traders. I took to the sea early in my life. I always knew I was going to captain my own ship. But fate has its way with you at times. After Rathir, I needed to get as far away from the sea as I could. I do miss the ocean, but I've come to realize that there are other joys in life. Gunnar showed up one day begging for help. Said he was a poor miner from Detir who lost his job when his mine shut down. Not sure I believe him, though. Hired him more out of pity than anything. I'm not sure he can actually do anything useful. She managed to tell me her name before passing out. That and a thresh had attacked her. I tried to help her as best I could, even gave her my room to recover in. But nothing has helped. I'm afraid it's only a matter of time. The great Dockelfar city in eastern Erethel. A great port with many a profit to be found. We must have sailed in and out of there more than any other port in the continent. But war has changed Rathir. They're not as friendly as they used to be. This forest has been trying to kill me ever since we got here. If it's not boggarts springing out of the bushes, it's brownies trying to take a bite out of my arse. I tell you, I much prefer the ocean. At least the things trying to eat me there are down under the water. My younger brother. After I went to sea, he couldn't wait to join me. Our parents wouldn't let him. Said he was too young. But after they died, the sea was the only place for him to go. After the trouble in Rathir, I told him he didn't have to come with me, but he insisted that families stick together. She was attacked by a thresh, normally a fatal encounter in and of itself. Barely managed to make it here before passing out. That wasn't enough. She's had a rare reaction to the thresh's usually benign venom. Only thing that will save her is a rare plant found in the Shee, but I cannot venture out to get one. I tried, but the forest is not like the sea. I got turned around so many times it felt like the trees were dancing around me. It's just too far into the Shee. I could not make it. You will? Well, if you manage to bring me one, I'll reward you with what I can. I've heard that seerstalk grow near flowing, misting water, so you might try following the river north. I thought I heard the roar of waterfalls when I once wandered up there, but I didn't go far enough to find out. The Shee, you know. Seerstalk are supposed to grow near flowing, misting water. Follow the river to the northern Shee. I'm sure I've heard waterfalls in the distance. I haven't seen one myself, but I've heard they're dangerous things. Demented trees with branches sharp as razors. Normally they're surrounded by boggarts, so if you see any of those, keep your eyes open. The thresh may not be far behind.
You have completed the task that the Hierophant set out for you, as all travelers are expected to. Well done. What I invite you to join is not a fraternity, not a guild. It is a family, a race, a bastion for those of like mind and talents. All travelers are now your kin, and you theirs. Now the Hierophant is called for you to serve again. The seer demands, so you must answer. The next task is unique. It involves stealing from one of my kind, Amalur, Lord of the Hunt, fallen member of the Court of Summer. This is what I can tell you of the task. Pray at the Hierophant Shrine and receive their blessed wisdom. I know of him. He is the Lord of the Chase, a member of the Court of Summer once, a fae of some import. But his title is a thing of artifice, nothing more. We shall show him and the Summer Court that such pomp is meaningless. You must go to the Hierophant Shrine and pray. Only then will you be awarded the knowledge you need to continue.
So, you've come to me again, Shade. So competent you were in your last mission that I've prepared another for you. You will steal Buru's boots from Amalur, Lord of the Hunt, once member of the Court of Summer. They are ancient things, a rare item to be so treasured among the Fae. Though their enchantments work only for the Fae, they are still highly prized. There has not been word of the Lord of the Hunt for some time. When I scry for him, I only see portents of his herald, Ergaze. The road to the boots lies through her. You must seek her out in the Shee and learn where to find Amalur in the boots.
Well, you've got a lively bit of swagger about you, traveller. Fancy on helping me with a bit of work. It's keys I need, Burke. Prison keys. The travellers are getting locked up in record numbers. I'm not one to sit around with my mouth agape. Getting these keys could save a traveller from the noose, but to get them, you'll need to get to jail yourself. Talk's one thing, Burke. You bring me those keys, and then I'll know that you decided to do it.
Seerstalk, I cannot believe it. Here is your reward. You more than deserve it. I shall administer this to Luca at once. The Seerstalk should make quick work of the venom.
So, there was indeed a group of brownies attacking those on the trail to Detir. Well, here is the reward I promised for taking care of them. Still, it is strange that brownies would act in such a way. I wonder. Our house found her outside one morning, barely alive, mumbling incoherently. From her ravings, our house figured that she'd been attacked by a thresh. Nasty creatures, those. Amazing that she made it so far after being so grievously wounded. A thresh is a vicious fey creature, a twisted spirit of the trees. You'll find them deep within the She. I steer clear of them, and I suggest you do the same. But if you find yourself up against one, set it ablaze. They make a merry bonfire. I've heard of something that could make them act that aggressively, but it can't be here. We must go to Rundamir. It is the largest brownie den in the She. I'm sure we will find the answer there. Make sure you are prepared. Brownies may look weak, but they are ferocious in large numbers. After you are ready, head south. Rundamir is a fey hollow on the edge of the She. I will meet you there.
Thank you, stranger. Our house tells me if it were not for you, I would not have recovered. I am not accustomed to such injury. Usually I am more than capable of taking care of myself. I have no desire to encounter that thresh again. I would not have survived if he had not found me. He's been very kind to me while I recover. I still feel weak, but I am better, thanks to you and our house. I came to the She in search of my father, who has been missing for some time. I thought he might be here, for he is obsessed with the Fey Hollows of Dalantarth. Our house was kind enough to offer lodging while I searched. He is a most interesting Varani. A quiet sort, but if you can get him to speak, he has a disarming sense of humor. He defers to our house when within the lodge, but it's Citric who takes the lead should they venture into the She. There was a time when all of Dalantarth was as the She is now. Primordial, ancient, knowing. It is a place of fey magic, both wild and immortal. Tread carefully in its depths. Nature, for all her beauty, can be cruel. You have not seen much of the world if you know not of the travelers. Entertainers, gypsies, thieves. They go where they want, when they want, and more often than not, take what they want along the way. I hear they are always open to recruiting new blood, so if you have a talent, perhaps you should introduce yourself. Do not make that claim lightly, for a thresh is not something so easily overcome. In truth, I would walk easier through the She knowing the thresh has been removed. Please reconsider, for though I wish to see an end put to this creature, I would not risk your life or that of any other. If you are determined to defeat it, I will tell you where I encountered it. But go with care, for I have no desire to send you to your death. The thresh attacked me in the eastern She, south of the river. You shall not find a more malevolent Fae. I had hoped to avoid them while I traversed the She. I fled as soon as I saw the thresh. I did not flee fast enough.
Greetings to you, traveler. I had hoped I would meet one of your kind in these woods. You seek to rob the Lord of the Hunt, Amalur. I wish to see the boots taken from my master as well, but I do not have them. I can only reveal their location to you. I am the herald of the Lord of the Hunt, Amalur. I once sang of his accolades and applauded his triumphs, but no more. He was the Lord of the Chase, a member of the Court of Summer. Of greater fey, I know few. Of greater tragedy, I know little. These were the darkest woods, the oldest and purest, with the humans to the west and the Alfar to the east. It is the last of the old places we Fae have left. To find them, you must find Amalur, the Lord of the Hunt, the one whom I herald. But this is not merely a matter of an owner and his possession. The Lord of the Hunt has secluded himself in Arduith because the boots carry a terrible curse. Amalur is the Hunt incarnate, and the boots enhance his natural abilities. They make him undetectable. He stalks unseen and unheard until he strikes. But the boots urge him to hunt, to take blood and life, His mind is like the feral beasts. He views all creation as his prey. And so he locked himself in Arduith to protect all from his madness. Entering Arduith, and he will hunt you as well. Amater was once one of the Summer Court. He embodied nature's drive to hunt. Then he found Buru's boots. For a time, they seemed like a blessing, a natural extension of his own prowess. And then he fell. And as his herald, I too fell, now forced to remember his greatness. No, though I yearn to see my master restored, the curse is too pervasive, and he would wish death on himself for how he has fallen. But in that death, there is a blessing, for he might rise again sometime, and restore the hunt, and free himself from this indignity. I would warn you that to go to Arduith is to go to your death. But if you must obtain those boots, then you must go. Be wary. He has stalked the forests and the plains and deserts of our realm for all seasons. He is the spirit of the hunt incarnate, or so it was thought. But the long winter came. Magic has been erratic amongst Fae kind. Amater began losing his abilities. He felt withered. My master saw what he was becoming because of the boots, and with one lucid thought, he sealed himself in Arduith. There, he might not bring others to harm. They are with Amater in Arduith on the edge of the She. The Hollow serves as a prison for Amater, but it is also his killing field. Even if you guard yourself, it may become your tomb.
Good. You made it. It is as I feared. A Croddock has made its lair at the bottom of this hollow. We will need to find it and kill it. Croddock are vile beasts, which feast on the flesh of the dead. For some reason, brownies flock to them, eager to act as soldiers, often bringing back kills so the Croddock can feast. Be wary of Croddock. Their spit is deadly. The Croddock is sending the brownies of Rundemir out to collect corpses for it to feed on. That is the reason they've been ambushing wayfarers in the She. We must find it and destroy it. It is done. With the Croddock dead, the brownies should cease their ambushes and the trail to Detir will be safe again. Thank you for your help. I would not have been able to defeat the monster on my own. Hard to believe she came so close to death now that she's recovered so quickly. Our house has been showing her around the lodge and talking her ears off about his days as a sea captain. Funny, I've never seen our house act like that around anyone before.
Who enters here? This is a sealed place, interloper, and you must leave before I spill your blood. It is too late. The hunger grows and roars within me. I must hunt. I will hunt you, mortal, until you can run no more. This is a cell of my own choosing. It is the hollow where I first awoke. It is my den. They are my grounds. The hunger drove me here, where I can be alone. But for the beasts that wander in, and you. I was, once. The court of summer held me to be the champion of chases, a master of stalking the woods of our realms. But with the boots, I have transcended. I am not the lord of the hunt. I am the hunt. I know. I had only wished to combat the waning of strength that the summer fae are experiencing. But then the magics began ensnaring my mind. It is too late for me. But you might take this. May it help protect you from my hunger. For blood. Enough talk. Come into my den, little mortal. Your blood shall be mine.
You are a force to be reckoned with. It's not easy to defeat such a vicious monster. Please, take this reward. My heart will no longer be filled with dread when I venture into the She.
The boots do not seem to have weathered the separation from their master well. Still, they are in hand as ordered. The Hierophant is pleased to have a thief like you in their service. It brings us power. There is a new task, but this one comes from me. Grim Onwig has not returned from a mission of his. I fear that he may have been captured. You must find Grim and return him to us. From what I've seen of your work, you have the best chance of anyone in camp. Grim is a close ally and a talented traveler. His safe return is your top priority. The Hierophant ordained him to steal an ancient book called the Missives of Sable from a stronghold held by Jotun. It seemed a relatively easy task. Jotun have no need of books after all. They are fiercely territorial, however. He was to go to Owen's stand in Lorca Rain. I've no doubt that you will find him there. And you must hurry to him. Once crossed, his captors will not take long before they decide to deal with him. Be careful. There is something unnatural at work here.
It's... Dove, it's you! Good on Cruel Garen to send you. I was worried the Hierophant might get away after all. Managed to get into a pretty good spot here. Ain't getting gutted just yet, so I'd be obliged to get me out before that comes. Gnomes always seem friendly enough, but these Praetorians ain't messing around. They'll kill anyone that gets in their way. It must be something to do with this book. It's got to be something important, like getting me out of here. Oh, you mean the beloved guide of the travellers? More like the pompous despot what got me locked in here. The Hierophant's will is what got me locked in here. I'd love to tell you more after you get me out. I was set up. The Hierophant sent me here to steal an old book, the Missives of Sable, from some Jotun. Sounded easy enough, but I was ambushed by a troop of gnomish Praetorians searching for the missives. They want that book, Dove, and they'll kill both of us for interfering. Steal the cell key, or pick the lock and get my tools, and I can sneak out. Or you could beat the gnomes to the missives, and bargain our way to freedom. Well, it's what everyone here came for, isn't it? Some bloody old tome. But it must be real valuable to cause all this. Thing is, neither the gnomes or I got it, which means it's deeper in the stronghold, with the Jotun. Find it, and we can buy our way out. It's an assortment of tools I use when I pull jobs. No good traveller steals his living without the tools of the trade. Since these gnomes are on such high alert, I'll need them tools to escape from here, if I'm to have a head at the end of this. You got the tools they took from me, right? Give them here and I can make my way out. More than the Hierophant ever gave me, that's for damn sure. Our blessed seer's finally made an error. I'm making myself scarce, but I'll be seeing you before too long, Dove. I promise.
You have freed Grim. That was well done of you. I heard that he is now on a mission of his own, but I know not where. I wish him well. But his accusations of the Hierophant's betrayal are disconcerting. Would the Hierophant truly go so far to quell one voice of dissension? Your jobs here are finished. It is time you go to Moon Camp in the plains of Erethel. The leader of that camp, Irian Tal, will have work waiting.
Nirilim says few words, and even fewer words are spoken of the children of dust. You are quite the exception. Nirilim would not mention you unless there was some pressing matter of fate. You should speak with the Wise Tree yourself and learn of what has been foreseen. Chosen by the Summer Court, I serve as one of many tenders to Nirilim. Occasionally I'm privileged enough to hear the wisdom of the great tree itself. Nirilim is wiser than King Titarian and older than memory itself. Nirilim's words of wisdom carry much weight with the Summer Court. We care for the tree, making sure it grows strong and true. But we are more than just simple gardeners. It is an honor to be one of the chosen who meditate in the shade of Nirilim's wisdom, cultivating and bonding with its spirit.
The curious one seeks a way to the Fae, but it has found its way to the boughs of the World Tree instead. Rest, Quickling, and I may study you. Look around you, and I am all that you can see. My roots spread across Dalantarth, my leaves read the winds from Frostbrine Coast to Alabastra. My family and I circle this world. We were saplings when your kind emerged from the dark, and we will grow with you until this world burns once again. My roots spread wide and deep, and I have heard what brought you here, but I cannot see where you go hence. The time of the Fae is passing. I must shelter them in their twilight and protect them from the corruption that spreads in their kin to the east. The gardens of fate are clear to me, and all that ever shall be are visible in its blooms. Issa's end has always been certain. Buried beneath Prismere blades, I can only hold back the tide. But you, perhaps you can change the currents. Where you tread, you mark all you touch. Before I would help you, I must know. Will you be a kind gardener or a careless reaper? Like all quicklings, you are eager to act. I would rather see the method of your action. A tribe of trolls has been corrupted with Prismere. Their matriarch, Nash, has united the clans in the first step on the path of Dalantarth's demise. You can change this fate, but to what? In doing so, you may awaken a more dangerous threat, like your ally, Aelin Shear. She walks a deep and tangled path, one that you walked alongside her before your death. But your path is your own now. Defeat Nash. Remove the taint of Prismere. Then I shall see who you are. If not, who you will become. Aelin Shear is a mystery and a simplicity. She is focused in a way few quicklings are. Her dedication is true, but I do not know the cause. Together you have walked dark paths beneath my boughs. You knew one another before your death, or thought you knew each other. Like the sun in the sky, they knew me when I was a sapling, and they will know me when I rot. But they will never know change, nor how to save themselves from their patterns. Only one Fae has ever truly changed, and he now leads an army to destroy your kind. The fates of quicklings are very simple. Growing, consuming, expanding, dying, and always rushing predictably along your paths. You are unique among them. You decide your own direction. But does that mean you will choose anything different? The troll matriarch. Prismere has corrupted her, making her cruel, cunning, and far more ambitious than her brethren. She bears the marks of the Tuatha, and she shares their murderous intent. I am as world trees have ever been since the dawn of time. I watch, I understand, and I remember. To creatures of flesh like yourself, Prismere is a powerful tool to harness magic. But to creatures of pure magic, like Tuatha or trolls, Prismere is so much more. To them, it is a curse, a blessing, and a rapture all in one. It drives them and consumes them. And to the weak-willed, It corrupts them utterly. I can no longer ignore the quicklings like your kind who rush through the world, ever anxious, ever eager, ever evolving, but never changing. Fools who hack at my roots and burn, and sometimes sages who hang from my branches and learn. The last great Fey city, at once the birth of their dream, the throne of their great realm, and the deathbed of their kind. In thanks to High King Titarian, my boughs stand vigil over their city in their twilight. Only by my leave may visitors see them in their weakness. The troll matriarch and her brood await at Haxi. Their corruption burns my roots and threatens our future.
I thought I'd find you here. That damned tree sent me. He has roots and branches all through the forest, but I was so hoping you'd be enough of a distraction for me to pass unnoticed. He said we should walk this path together. Thought I could help you, or maybe that you could help me. I've never met Nash. Trolls and Darkwolfar rarely invite each other to tea, but if she's matriarch of a clan, you can be sure that she's strong. And if she's so corrupted that Niralim is nervous about her, then she must pose a bigger threat than most trolls. The gardens of Issa, home of the Summer Fae, once spread from the forests of Dalentarth, across the plains of Erethel, and even through the deserts of Ditir. Between the madness of the war and the spread of man, Alfar, and Gnome, the Summer Fae lose a little more ground every day. A tragedy for them. None of us could have foreseen the rise of Gadflo and his army, but we should have, and now we're all facing the price. That old coward. He may have lived 100 heroic lives, but he's lost the moment he faces something truly new, pathetic. Niralim is the oldest living mortal. He remembers the time before even the Fae called these lands home. You should see how they cherish him. He rarely grants an audience to visitors. His tenders say he knows the future as well as the past. It makes him very particular about what he says. Nice work. I see you haven't forgotten how to handle yourself in a fight. Still, this is bad. I didn't think the Tuatha would reach this far. At least not so soon. Obviously, the Tuatha have bigger plans than just killing you. Infusing the trolls with Prismir, trying to bring the war to Dalentarth? Niralim was right to be concerned. To the contrary, until you came along, she was destined to rampage across Dalentarth, at least, if you believe Niralim. Go, talk to the tree. I'm sure he'll let you into Issa now. I'll finish off any Tuatha hiding in this den. You can tell the old mossy log yourself. I'll be tracking down any other Tuatha that may have come this far west.
You return, and in your wake, Dalentarth blossoms. The flow is rearranged, now and forever. Nash's brood is at an end. You have destroyed what was written, and made a new fate for Dalentarth. Even your darkest ally walks a lighter path. And yet the Tuatha still spread, marching with Prismir and pain. You have only delayed our doom. You have the power of an immortal, and yet the humility to ask for help. Little one, I envy your grace. You shall carry my blessings with you. You must know this, Quickling. The age is changing. Immortals are passing, and the future belongs to the young races. If there is a future to be had. Go, and stand at the heart of the She. There you will find Issa, and perhaps you will find wisdom as well. Nash and her brood would have spread across Dalentarth and brought the taint of Prismere with them. So it forever was to be, until you set about to stop it. Only the path of your own choosing. Stand at the heart of the She, and if that path includes the gardens of Issa, I shall allow it.
Welcome to the Gardens of Issa, home of the Summer Court and the warm heart of the Feylands. It is a rare occasion for us to welcome a child of dust into Issa, but it is equally rare that Niralim chooses a champion. Pleased to meet you. I am Chancellor to the High King. I pray you enjoy our hospitality. High King Titarian is Lord of the Summer Fae, the font of all our wisdom, and first amongst the immortals. And since Godflow tragically murdered the High King of the Winter Court, Titarian is the greatest and last true leader left of our kind. The sapling of the World Tree bears centuries of great wisdom. Of course, long-lived as Nirlam is, it is still regrettably mortal. Even all greatest mortal wisdom cannot compare to the perspective given by true agelessness. Begging your pardon, of course. We are the Summer Court, the very embodiments of courage, honor, and all things bright and proud. Some envious few in the Winter Court would call us arrogant and self-righteous, as well as all manner of other epithets. But remember, we are the ones who stayed true to tradition, while they turned to barbarism. The Tuatha find new recruits from our ranks. The ranks of the Fae were not always sullied by the presence of anything so coarse as the Tuatha. Once, the Summer and Winter Courts existed in harmony. But Godflow perverted the Winter Court with talk of his new god, and from that poison, the Tuatha arose. Too many mortals misunderstand the Winter Court. Our cold cousins are not evil, but merely evoke the darker truths of nature, from subtlety to decay. Perhaps it makes sense that children of dust are put off by those who embody their inevitable death, but it is regrettable that so many are misunderstood. Truly a place of wonder, as it has always been and always shall be. Here springs the life well of Dalentarth, and the greater Feylands in all directions. It is a pity that some of our kind have fallen to such degenerative states, but we cannot shed a tear for their weakness.
Please, come forward into the light of the font. Don't linger there, I need to see you. Closer. Oh, fascinating. I had heard the telling of your ascension in the House of Ballads, but I never expected to lay eyes upon you. You are free to roam the city at your leisure, even the trellis and the understyle. If you seek mortal trappings, then Felltown will provide. High King Titarian fulfills his role as our wise ruler. He gathers around him the bravest and most gifted advisors, and together they make up the Court of Summer. Like his predecessors, Titarian's goal is to maintain the Great Cycle, and to keep the balance that has sustained us for all these many seasons. It is a special district set aside for the young races. A haven, if you will. We encourage you to stay within its confines for your own protection. Do not worry. Felltown has the amenities that your kind need to lead a mortal life, such as merchants, a smithy, and a tavern for evening exploits. The gardens have been here since the first of our kind sprang forth. Only in the last few mortal years have we chosen to make it known to your people, with good reason. This is a safe place, and we intend to keep it that way. To that end, we ask mortals to adhere to the Peace Edict, which forbids weapons in the city. Every living creature in our world is part of a chain of death and rebirth, even the Fae. However, when we pass into the flow of our great cycle, we return again. The king rules from his throne high above on the font, and he has done so for many seasons. You should know this, since you've been sent to speak with him. Most mortals in Issa are stripped of weapons upon entering the city, However, there are a few exceptions. Ambassadors and guests of the Near-Lim. We do this for your own protection, of course. There is a fire in Dustling blood that must be quenched by violence. I've never understood it. The font is older than everything around you. It is the origin from which we flow. If you search for the heart of Summercourt magic, you will find the font. Once, the understyle was all around you, spreading from the garden's gates to the great trunks of the trellis. But that was before the mortals came. There is little that mortals need to know about the trellis, for it is where the worthy await their moment before the High King. Everyone who stands before the light of the sun must prepare themselves, lest they be blinded. It is behind me, up the great winding stairs.
Oh, excellent. Another... Oh, a mortal. I don't think I could... Oh, why, you're the ruler of the House of Ballads. How extraordinary. You wouldn't be interested in aiding a mere squire, would you? It is well beyond your station to do so, but, well, I face quite the predicament. Well, I've never met him, of course. Such an honor is not granted to squires. But they say he is quite incredible. As tall as a tree and radiating a great light, as though a sun burned within him. The birds sing to herald his glory. I am steward of the High King's list, and apprentice to the Lady of Receivership. Olanna will be so displeased once she finds out I failed her so. I enjoy my role as steward, but my fear of Lady Olanna overshadows any pleasure I might find in the tasks assigned to me. She is quite critical. She is well suited to her role as the Lady of Receivership, as she enjoys judging the worth of others. She has assessed me as well, and I have been found lacking. Few dustlings ever make their way to these gardens. I believe they fear us, as they fear the elements. As they should. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you not like to be called dustlings? My role is with the Hall of Appointments, to prepare visiting ambassadors and dignitaries to meet with the Court of Summer. Right now there are 4 terrible, regal lords and ladies that wish to see High King Tatarian, but they are a fickle lot and require extra, handling. They must enter the font in a procession, but each has his or her own preferences, and I can't afford to offend any of them. Wonderful. That's one less aggravation that demands my concern. Thank you, mortal. The dignitaries have been seen about the gardens, enjoying its many splendors. I will remain here and await your advice. Everywhere. Goronet is in the Hall of Appointments, but the others are all over the city. What a nightmare.
You'll have to excuse my state, Your Grace. The House of Ballads rarely sends its ruler to meet with me. I usually entertain mortals from Felltown. I enjoy the mortal world immensely. It adds such texture and color to our experience. Now and then you might find me in your dustling district, taking in the bustle. I am the steward of tinctures and elixirs. A meaningless title, one I gave myself, actually. But my work is vital, as is my role, to test the font's magic. This is where we watch over the font, the source of magic in the gardens of Issa. It is a fountainhead that is nourished for as long as this world has been. The font's flow can be measured, directed, and even regulated, depending on the needs of our people. Font Master Nomoran attends to these duties. He has the role of monitoring the font's flow throughout the city and the Feylands. His telling is not to be envied, as it is one of our most important. Font Master Nomoran insists that everything flows as it should, yet I have seen his worry, and I feel the magic weakening. Strange forces are at work. It may be difficult to believe, but the city was once inhabited only by Fae. The understyle consisted of everything growing beneath the font. Now this important section of the Isa is but a dark corner, all but forgotten.